the relationship between inner and outer change is direct and constant. There's really no stopping between it, and that's why trauma is very real. It's also why inner growth in the right circumstances is very real. As our actions change, so does our internal self. So our actions affect and plant seeds in our mind, like we were talking about with karma last week. And the more joy and compassion we express and experience, the more we'll naturally find it. So that's somewhat due to cognitive bias. That's also somewhat due to the fact that we'll literally be creating that world around us. People will get happy when they see a happy person. You'd be more likely to interact with happy people if you walk into situations with a smile on your face. It's just a simple fact. But it does relate back to this lack of dichotomy between the internal and external. So when it comes to experiencing, and this is sort of just, this is away from practice, and just a very important philosophical point. When it comes to expressing joy and love on earth, when it comes to the potential for the height of humanity, for the highest level of intellect, the highest level of love and patience, the highest level of virtue, of compassion, presence, when it comes to expressing the absolute best of humankind, we are it, right now. If we're not doing it, we can't guarantee that it's happening. And hopefully everyone can sort of take that attitude. But too often we underestimate ourselves and our ability for great deeds of love, compassion, presence, joy, happiness. And we really need to, in an inspirational way, be more willing to sort of take, as a society, I don't mean this word, but as a society, be more willing to take that on and say, I want to live in this world, so I'm going to go make it. And I wanted to just very quickly touch base on the be the change you want to see in the world quote, which everyone quotes Gandhi as. In a little bit of research, that's not what Gandhi said. It was later on translated that way. But what Gandhi actually said is, if we could change ourselves, the tendency in the world would also change. And as a man, we'll add / woman, changes their own inner nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards her. Okay, so again, as we change ourselves, the tendencies of the world also change. And as a person changes their own inner nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards that person. If we want to see a world look the way we want it to look, if we want to live in a place where people are kind to one another and people experience joy, we have to start with ourselves. It is the only answer. And that is a very important, I bring it up so sternly, not because I don't think you guys may already be all doing that, but because it's just an important point in Buddhist practice in general, that we are taking responsibility to some degree for the entirety of existence without any guilt at all, right? So that every interaction that I have something to do with, and I'm just going to do my best to make it the best I can. That's all. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to fix the world, but every interaction that I have, I'm going to take responsibility to embody the best portions of humanity that I can. That's it. And that simplistic practice, having that in mind, gives us purpose. So I don't mean to say, oh, you guys aren't doing enough. I mean, you probably are. You're probably already great people. You may not even be recognizing it. Maybe you do, and maybe you don't need to hear this at all, but maybe you're doing a lot more than you even give yourself credit for. Maybe you're even more embodying that beautiful human being than you're giving yourself credit for. But waking up every morning with that purpose as a philosophy. It's given as a religion in Buddhism, but as just a pure philosophy, regardless of religion or other spiritual practice. I today am going to embody not just the best me, but the best human I can. Let's evolve together, right? And waking up with that is purposeful no matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're curing cancer or you're retired. It doesn't matter if you're laying down bricks or if you work at a library. It just doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if you're a parent, doesn't matter if you're a kid. If you're doing your best to embody the best you can imagine, not just the best you can be, but the best you can imagine. And at the end of the day, you can also give yourself a pat on the back. You probably fail here and there, quote unquote, but that falling short instead of failure, let's call it, is just representative of all the other times where it did work. Right? That's just the peak and valley that defines when you are actually being great. So we can direct our meditation practice towards being peaceful, joyful, happy, feeling great for the benefit of all sentient beings, for the people around us, for the world around us. And then we have this wonderful excuse to engage in a very joyful practice of life because it helps other people too. Why not, right? There's no reason not to at that point.